Good morning. We'll start session 2 on chapter Some Natural Phenomena. And this is the last session on this chapter, children. With this, we will be completing the science portion for the academic year. So in the chapter Natural Phenomena, we first understood what is natural phenomena, what are the different natural phenomena. We just listed down, we understood that. Then we understood what are charges, how like charges repel and unlike charges attract. We understood that by activities. So based on the charges, we also understood about transfer of charge and earthing. Then we understood about lightning. So in today's class, we will understand, since what is lightning we know now, how lightning affects the tall buildings, or what are the safety measures to take during lightning. And apart from that, few more natural phenomena, that is what is earthquake. We will understand that in today's session.
So let's continue. So as discussed about lightning yesterday, why does lightning always strikes the tall building easily? It is not that lightning will not strike anything, any other buildings or any trees, short buildings, etc. But it can strike the tall buildings very easily. So the simple reason is that taller the buildings, they are closer to the clouds or the charges flowing down from the sky, right? So we say that lightning strikes the taller buildings very easily. So basically we know that lightning occurs as a streak of charges that fall towards the ground. So tall buildings and tall trees can easily conduct the charge towards the ground because they are closer to the clouds. So the air gap between these buildings and lightning is short, hence they are more susceptible to the lightning. As we understood in the simple words, this is the actual thing why these tall buildings or tall trees are affected first. But as I discussed, that does not mean that it will not affect any short trees or any short buildings. It will, but taller buildings are affected first. So if these are getting affected, what is the safety device? What one should do for this? So usually whenever there is a lightning, if you have heard your parents, your grandparents telling you that during lightning, do not walk in the open ground, or do not stay in the open, or do not walk on the road, right? Do not use umbrellas. These are the basic things what even our parents tell sometimes. Apart from that, what precautions we take at home when there is a lightning? You hear lightning and thunder. You see lightning and hear thunder. We switch off the electric appliances, we switch off the TV, we do all these things. So all electric appliances, that is, we should unplug the electric appliances because lightning is an electric discharge. Hence, one should stay away from electric wires, telephone cables, metal pipes during this. So apart from this, you are not supposed to go outside, especially in the open field. If in case you have stuck somewhere in between in an open ground or open field, the best one what you can do is just squat on the ground and sit instead of lying down. So now just let us read these do's and don'ts for lightning safety, both for indoor and outdoor. It's already mentioned in your book, children. Let's understand them detailed one by one. So I'll read those points now. One should not stay in an open place such as an open vehicle like a motorbike, tractor or open field, elevated places or tall trees, right? One should not carry an umbrella during a storm. If a person is around a forest, they should hide under short trees. Now, of course, short trees are also susceptible, but still they are better than the long trees. Because if it is a forest, there are many long trees. That means short trees will get affected later. First long trees gets affected. One should not go near any electric poles or any metal objects. One should squat on the ground instead of lying down. So these are the safety measures what we take when we are outside during lightning. Outdoor safety. Indoor safety, what do we do? As already discussed, lightning is an electric discharge. So one should stay away from electrical wires, telephone cables, metal pipes during thunderstorm. At home also, One may use a cordless phone or a mobile in an emergency. We do that usually, right? One should not come in contact with running water, hence one should avoid bathing. So I am not very much sure about this point. One should not come in contact with running water. That's sometimes because in olden days what would happen, children, your overhead tank, if it is left open, because water is a good conductor of electricity, right? But nowadays we have all closed systems, so that's a different thing, and usually nobody will go take a bath during thunder or lightning, correct? So one should unplug all the electric appliances in the house. We do that, usually we do that. We unplug the TV, we unplug the TV plugs, we switch off the refrigerator. On the other side, actually if you go to see, the minute there is a lightning, thunder, anything which takes place, first of all there is a power cut. So since there is a power cut, everything gets off by itself, right? So electric lights do not cause any harm. So that can be kept on if in case we have a power. So these are few indoor and outdoor safety. But apart from this, now since we told that buildings are susceptible, or tall buildings are susceptible to lightning, right? So how do we safeguard these buildings? They use a sort of a lightning conductor. Now what is this lightning conductor? Now see here, this is something called as a lightning conductor. If you can see in the picture, this is a metal, or you can say this is a lightning conductor, what it is placed here. It is internally connected, then grounded to earth. In a copper plate, it is digged inside the earth. So in order to protect the buildings from lightning, a lightning conductor device is used. It is not only like this, you get several different types. You can just Google it, you will get to see many pictures on that. So when is this done? When the building is being constructed, a metallic rod having a height more than the building is placed in the walls of the building. One end of the rod is in the air and the other end is buried inside the earth. The rod is a conductor, and hence during lightning it allows the flow of electric charge directly to the ground instead of affecting. So working of lightning conductor, just let us understand that. So lightning conductor is a rod consisting of pointed ends which is made up of copper wire. These copper wires are brought down along the building and are attached to a metallic plate and digged deep inside the ground. You can see an internal connection here which is connected to this. If lightning hits the building, the copper wire carries these charges quickly to the ground, right? So charges can transfer. We understood that in yesterday's class about in electroscope. So this was about lightning conductor, indoor and outdoor safety about lightning. So we'll move on to the next natural phenomena, that is earthquake. So what is earthquake? So basically when we talk about an earthquake, so it is a natural phenomena such as a thunderstorm and cyclones that are predicted by the meteorologist. But earthquake, this natural phenomena till now could not be predicted. We cannot predict. See, usually we get a weather forecast. There is a cyclone, there might be, see in today's paper or the today's weather forecast tells us that there are chances of 3 days of slight rainfall, right? That's a weather forecast, there's a prediction. But earthquake, there is no prediction. So there are certain natural phenomena that are uncertain and cannot be predicted accurately. One of them is earthquake. Earthquake is a natural phenomena that occurs as shaking or trembling of Earth's surface. It occurs or lasts for a very short span of time. You might have seen in the news or some videos on earthquake. So what actually happens during the earthquake? The main cause of earthquake is disturbance inside the crust of the earth. So what leads to earthquake? What happens if there is an earthquake? Loss of life, loss of property such as buildings, dams, bridges, floods, landslides, tsunamis, etc. So what actually causes this earthquake? So before we understand that, let's understand the layers of earth or the structure of earth. A very important, the question can be asked, draw the structure of layer of earth. So this is the earth. If you just cut open one part here, the outer layer is called as a crust. The layer below the crust is called as a mantle. Then comes the outer core, then comes the inner core. So children, we are not discussing about, this is the outer layer, crust, right? What crust consists of, what mantle consists of. There are different materials what crust is made up of, or mantle is made up of, inner and outer core as well. We are just discussing about layers of earth with respect to what we have to understand about the earthquake. So let's only understand about the layers of earth and the respective parts. Now what happens here is, the outermost layer of the earth is divided into several plates. You can see some plates given here. These plates are always moving. Suppose if these are plates, so these plates keep always moving in this manner, right? One over the other, sliding here or moving here, they keep moving. But suddenly, while moving, if they collide, what will happen? So I can say there is a tremor or there is a shake once something collides, right? As they move past each other or collide, disturbance are caused in the earth's crust. So these disturbances are called earthquakes or tremors. Apart from this, what are the other causes? Now one cause is that with respect to the colliding or with respect to the movement of these plates, sliding over each other. Because of colliding, the earthquake is a tremor or the shake, that is earthquake is caused. But apart from that as well, earthquake can be caused due to volcanic eruptions, when a meteor hits the earth. Now you know what is a meteor, right? We have understood that in stars and solar system. There's a nuclear explosion. Now nuclear explosion is something, a new word to you. So it's a very huge explosion. About nuclear, you will study that in your standard 10th. Although all the cause of the earthquake are clear, but still scientists cannot predict when the earthquake would occur. So we are not studying again much detailed about earthquake as well here. Few more concepts let us understand. Now, when we talk about earthquake, we have to also talk about seismic waves. Earthquake produces, see now if there is a disturbance, suppose there is a water. So let's just imagine that this is a still water, not this. Let me just consider a still water. I just throw a stone in the still water. What happens? There is a disturbance set up in the medium. So whenever there is a disturbance set up in the medium, we call that as a wave. What is a wave? Wave is defined as disturbance set up in a medium. Similarly, when there is an earthquake, that also causes or that produces waves on the earth's surface, which are called as seismic waves. So what are seismic waves? These are the waves which are produced on the earth's surface during the earthquakes, and these waves travel in all the direction on the earth's surface. Now, seismograph is an instrument which can record the seismic waves. It is not before, it's only after the earthquake has caused. There is an instrument known as seismograph which can record the seismic waves. Then we also have another term called as a Richter scale. So what is this? It is a scale which is used to determine the magnitude. Magnitude is nothing but the number. Determine the magnitude or strength of an earthquake. So which instrument is used to determine, or which instrument is used to find the seismic waves? Seismograph. Which instrument is used to determine the strength or the magnitude of earthquake? That is Richter scale. Like for example, if you see, earthquake of magnitude 6 is 100 times more powerful than earthquake of magnitude 4. Just the number 6 and 4, right? Just a 2 difference, but still 6 is more powerful than the 4. So these are few information about earthquakes, but still why this phenomena is caused, why this natural phenomena is caused, that is still unpredicted. So one more important point, children, destructive earthquakes have a richer scale magnitude more than 7. So just imagine wherever there is an earthquake which has disrupted all the life, houses, buildings, etc., its richer scale measured, the strength was measured more than 7. So with this, children, we complete the chapter some natural phenomena. Yeah, of course. Now there are some protective measures also against the earthquake. Now as we discussed about that, lightning conductor is there to protect against lightning. There are also few measures taken to protect against earthquake. That is, buildings which are located in the seismic zone. Where is that? Where more of that particular zone should be constructed in such a way that they can handle the major tremors. Now even nowadays there are even buildings which are constructed which are earthquake proof. You might have read it somewhere. So nowadays apartments, some buildings and all, what they construct, they make sure that they are earthquake proofs. Some measures will have been taken in that. So what people have to do here now, we have to always consult an architect, a good architect and engineers before constructing a new building. Though wherever that particular area is prone to the seismic, or the particular area comes under the seismic zone, the roofs of the building should be kept very light. Why the roof should be kept light? It is understood. Timber or mud should be used in construction of building, apart from using heavy materials. This is not the general for everybody I am talking, children. This is where the places are located in the seismic zone. The shelf, cupboard should be fixed to the wall so that they cannot fall easily. Just with a tremor or a shake, the cupboard or the shelf do not fall easily. Things such as photo frames, geyser, clocks, wall hangings, anything which are just loosely held should be avoided. Building should have firefighting equipment, as earthquake may also cause fires. So these are the measures, or these are the protective measures taken against the earthquake, where the buildings or where the places are located in the seismic zone. Now, how can people protect themselves from earthquake? Both indoor and outdoor safety measures, let us just go through quickly. One should hide under a table or until the earthquake stops. One should stay close. One should not stay close to the heavy objects and tall objects, because that might fall very easily. If one is in the bed, they should cover their head with a pillow. Rather, because something if falls, your head does not get injured very easily. So these are just general measures what they have given. Outdoor safety, one should find a place which has no tall buildings around or even trees. See, these are the measures given for a slight tremor, not a very huge earthquake. If the person is inside a car or a bus, they should drive slowly to a clear place and be inside until the earthquake stops. So these are some safety measures, but if there is a heavy tremor, then nothing can help here. Then, as I had discussed, there are also earthquake resistant building as well, which are even coming up nowadays. So, with this, children, we complete the chapter Some Natural Phenomena. Now, see, why are these natural phenomena occurring? Some are predicted and some are unpredicted. But still, with our natural resources which is naturally available to us, human beings are using these natural resources for their own good, for development, for technology and development and etc. But we are, apart from our own needs, we are also exploiting these natural resources. Exploiting these natural resources causes deforestation. Then we have studied in the previous chapter what if there is a deforestation, there will be no habitat for animals, so there might be forest fires. Then if there are no forests, then it will lead to carbon dioxide content will get excess in the atmosphere, which leads to the global warming. What happens if there is a global warming? Melting of glaciers. All these are interconnected. So though the definition says that natural phenomena which are naturally happening without any human mankind, but still these natural phenomena can also, we human beings can also intervene in these natural phenomena by exploiting the natural resources. So we have to use our natural resources judiciously. Thank you.